Thalasemia adalah penyakit kelainan darah, di mana umur darah 2-4 kali lebih pendek dibanding darah normal. Penyebabnya karena hemoglobin tidak terbentuk dengan sempurna, sehingga sel darah merah menjadi mudah rusak dan penderita mengalami kekurangan darah. Akibatnya, penderita harus mendapat transfusi darah secara rutin selama seumur hidup. Jika satu orang bisa donor darah 4 kantong dalam 1 tahun, setidaknya dibutuhkan 12 orang untuk mencukupi kebutuhan darah penderita thalassemia selama 1 tahun. Faktanya, setiap 250 ml darah yang ditransfusikan akan membawa sekitar 250 mg zat besi, sedangkan untuk kebutuhan normal tubuh hanya 1-2 mg per hari. Akibatnya, terjadi penumpukan zat besi dalam tubuh dan bisa menyebabkan gagal jantung, pembekakan hati, dan limfa. Setiap 3 jam ada 1 anak yang menderita thalassemia. Dalam 1 tahun diperkirakan akan ada 2.500 anak yang menderita thalassemia. Angka ini akan terus bertambah setiap tahunnya. Diperkirakan tahun 2020 nanti lebih dari 20.000 anak Indonesia menderita thalassemia. Ini 2 kali lipat dari jumlah kelahiran bayi di Indonesia setiap hari, atau hampir 4 kali lipat dari jumlah penderita thalassemia saat ini. Thalassemia terbagi menjadi 2, thalassemia mayor dan thalassemia minor. Thalassemia mayor adalah orang yang menderita penyakit thalassemia, sedangkan thalassemia minor hanya sebagai pembawa gen thalassemia dengan gejala anemia ringan, sehingga mereka tidak perlu pengobatan thalassemia. Secara fisik, pembawa thalassemia tidak dapat dibedakan dengan manusia yang memiliki sel darah normal. Mereka bisa bekerja, menikah, dan melakukan aktivitas lainnya, bahkan mampu mendonorkan darah. Thalassemia bisa dicegah dengan cara menghindari pernikahan sesama pembawa thalassemia. Bagaimana cara mendeteksinya? Satu-satunya jalan adalah dengan screening darah untuk mengetahui apakah normal atau pembawa thalassemia. Bagaimana mekanisme penurunannya? Thalassemia diturunkan dari orang tua kepada anaknya. Jika sesama thalassemia mayor menikah, mereka akan melahirkan 100% anak thalassemia mayor. Jika thalassemia mayor menikah dengan pembawa thalassemia, maka akan melahirkan 50% anak thalassemia mayor. Jika sesama pembawa thalassemia menikah, maka akan melahirkan 25% anak thalassemia mayor. Akan tetapi, jika pembawa thalassemia menikah dengan pasangan normal, maka tidak akan melahirkan anak thalassemia mayor. Begitu juga jika thalassemia mayor menikah dengan pasangan normal. Di Indonesia, 6-10 dari 100 orang adalah pembawa thalassemia. Jika penduduk Indonesia berjumlah 200 juta jiwa, maka ada 20 juta orang pembawa thalassemia. Ini setara dengan jumlah penduduk Yogyakarta 7 kalinya. Fenomena pembawa thalassemia di Indonesia seperti gunung es. Masih sedikit yang sudah terdeteksi, sisanya masih banyak yang belum diketahui. Ayo, screening darahmu sekarang.
Most people have 4 alpha genes, balanced alpha and beta globin production, and normal-sized cells with the normal amount of hemoglobin per cell. When one alpha gene is deleted, it is called the silent carrier state for alpha thalassemia, because it's virtually indistinguishable from having the full complement of 4 alpha genes. Even with 3 alpha genes, there is essentially balanced chain production. Normal amounts of hemoglobin A produced, resulting in normocytic, normal-sized cells. When 2 alpha genes are deleted, the condition is alpha thalassemia trait. In individuals of African heritage, there is typically 1 alpha loss from each chromosome. In individuals of Asian heritage, the arrangement is often loss of 2 genes from 1 chromosome. But even with only 2 alpha genes, there is minimal beta chain excess, a slight decrease in the amount of hemoglobin A produced, resulting in individuals with slightly microcytic cells, targets with mild or no anemia. When 3 alpha genes are deleted, this is called hemoglobin H disease. This condition is typically found in individuals of Asian heritage because you need to have one chromosome without any alpha genes, a configuration that is not typically found in individuals of African heritage. This results in beta chain excess and the formation of beta-4 tetramers, a poorly soluble hemoglobin called hemoglobin H that is less toxic than the alpha globin aggregates seen in beta thalassemia, so there is little ineffective erythropoiesis. Instead, predominantly hemoglobin H damages the membrane of cells in the circulation, resulting in a chronic hemolytic anemia. Less hemoglobin is formed, and the cells are microcytic and targeted. When all 4 alpha genes are deleted, this is alpha thalassemia. It is most commonly found in families of Asian heritage. No alpha chains are produced. Reviewing globin synthesis during fetal development, remember that normally alpha chains are produced fairly early in fetal life and consistently thereafter. Primitive embryonic alpha-like chains, not shown here, are produced transiently during very early embryonic development. Gamma production is high in the fetus, starting to switch off before birth, with beta production taking over from gamma. In alpha thalassemia, no alpha globin is produced. Early in gestation, gamma-4 tetramers, called hemoglobin BARTs, accumulate in the fetal red cells. Virtually no oxygen is released to tissues, and the fetus usually succumbs to death before or shortly after birth. Filling red cells with hemoglobin is all about balance. Despite being on different chromosomes, the globin genes are designed to put out the right amount of product, so the output is balanced, with about the same amount of alpha and beta chains. There is also communication with iron uptake and heme synthesis in the mitochondria, so the ratios work out, and hemoglobin is assembled without any leftover, potentially toxic components. This results in cells with the normal amount of hemoglobin per cell, and because the amount of hemoglobin influences the size of the cell comes out normocytic, normal-sized. In beta thalassemia trait, one beta gene carries one of the hundreds of mutations that can make it underproduce. The alpha genes keep pumping, and you end up with a mild excess of alpha chains that aggregate, precipitate, and are proteolized by the cell's own protein quality control system before they can do any damage. Ultimately, there is a deficiency of beta globin, less hemoglobin A formed, less hemoglobin per cell, and because the amount of hemoglobin influences the size of the cells are smaller than normal, microcytic, have a target morphology, and the individual may or may not have a mild degree of anemia. Because gamma production is not affected, there is a relative increase in the proportion of F in the cell. Similarly, there is a relative increase in the proportion of A2 in the cell. When both beta genes carry a thalassemia mutation, there is even more excess alpha globin. These aggregates overwhelm the normal quality control systems, precipitate, become toxic oxidants, and cause apoptosis. This premature death in the marrow defines ineffective erythropoiesis. The amount of excess alpha determines the severity of the decreased production anemia. Little or no hemoglobin A is produced depending on the severity of each thal mutation. There is less hemoglobin per cell, and the cells are microcytic. The relative proportion of hemoglobin A2 is increased, but A2 output cannot increase to compensate. Homozygous beta thalassemia is basically a disorder that requires lifelong transfusion. If not transfused, these patients survive based on how much compensatory fetal hemoglobin they can make, although this is rarely enough to support even a minimally functional lifestyle. You will learn more about the clinical classification of thalassemia, including the category thalassemia intermedia.
So we see that there are varying degrees of symptoms based on the type of thalassemias that present. Treatment of thalassemia will depend on the severity of symptoms. If you have a mild form of either alpha or beta thalassemia, then you may have no noticeable symptoms and therefore require no treatment. However, moderate to severe conditions will require regular blood transfusions to maintain normal hemoglobin levels. These blood transfusions may need to be administered every few weeks, and this presents a new problem. And we mentioned earlier in this lesson that hemoglobin is an iron-rich protein. The body of a patient undergoing regular blood transfusions can easily get overloaded with iron. The body does not have a natural way of excreting this excess iron, and if it is left alone, it deposits in the body and damages organs. Therefore, a patient that undergoes frequent blood transfusions will also need iron chelation therapy, which removes excess iron from the body. I guess you could say that iron chelation is the key to successful blood transfusions. Now, there's no real cure for thalassemia other than a bone marrow transplant. This can cure the condition because bone marrow is the site where red blood cells are made. Therefore, a transplant of healthy bone marrow will produce healthy cells. However, this cure is reserved for only the most severe cases due to the fact that the procedure is very risky and it is difficult to find a suitable donor. Let's review. Thalassemia is an inherited blood disorder characterized by an abnormal production of hemoglobin. Specifically, there are genetic mutations that change the way the body makes the alpha and beta protein chains that make up hemoglobin. Alpha thalassemias are blood disorders that develop if one or more of the 4 alpha chain genes are missing or mutated. The more that are missing, the more severe your symptoms. With only 1 gene missing, you are a silent carrier with no symptoms. If you have 2 genes missing, you have a condition called alpha thalassemia minor, which produces minor symptoms of anemia. If you have 3 genes missing, you have hemoglobin H disease with moderate to severe symptoms. With all 4 genes missing, you have alpha thalassemia major or hydrops fetalis, where symptoms are so severe that the fetus does not survive. With beta thalassemias, we have blood disorders that develop if one or both of the beta chain genes are mutated. With only 1 gene mutated, you have beta thalassemia minor and minor symptoms of anemia. If you have both genes mutated, then you have beta thalassemia major or Cooley's anemia, which results in major symptoms of anemia. Treatment of thalassemia will depend on the severity of symptoms. Mild forms may require no treatment. Moderate to severe forms will require regular blood transfusions to maintain normal hemoglobin levels, along with iron chelation therapy, which removes excess iron from the body that can build up from the frequent transfusions. Bone marrow transplant offers some hope for a cure, but this procedure is risky and it is challenging to find